In this video, we're going to show you how to install the AC condenser on your Jeep Grand Cherokee located behind the front grille. Now before tackling this job here, you definitely want to have the AC system professionally evacuated by a repair shop, and that way there when you open this up, you won't be releasing any of the Freon into the air. Using your trim tool, remove the 4 buttons across the bottom side of your bumper. Pop out the center, work that out, and then pull out the base with it. Now on the front leading edge of the fender area here, we have some trim buttons that need to be removed. Now with the vehicle jacked up in the air, we can go ahead and hop into the vehicle, turn the steering wheel all the way to the right, crank that wheel over. It's going to give us access to these here a little bit easier. Then we're going to repeat for the other side, crank the steering wheel to the left and remove those trim buttons as well. Now I'm going to use a small diameter punch for the center here. Now these buttons will probably have to be replaced after we remove them. We'll punch out the center of these. On the top section here, there may be a bolt or another retainer there. Ours is missing. Now we can use our trim tool to remove the main button itself. Grab your fender molding. I'm going to pull this out towards you. And what we're doing is simply dislodging this trim from the front bumper. Here, there's just a little plastic shield, and this is held in place by some more plastic buttons. Use your trim tool, and we're going to pop a few of these out. Pop out the center and then get the bottom and pry that up. Now we want to go ahead and separate our bumper from the fender area. Now right on the edge here as it wraps around, there is a hole that kind of hangs up on a bolt head. So you're going to grab that lip and kind of peel it out and then pull your bumper out. What we're doing is dislodging the bumper here. We're going to do the same on the passenger side. Now as we grab this bumper, we're going to start to pull it towards you, and there's going to be a series of these clips underneath the light running across the bottom of the grille. Now we're going to kind of leave this side hanging up a little bit. We're going to go to the passenger side, pull that out, and when we pull this off, the fog lights are still going to be connected, so we're going to gently pull the bumper forward, reach behind, and disconnect the fog lights. And we have the passenger side popped out. Go ahead and grab that bumper and just gently pull it forward. Let's go ahead and reach around the back and disconnect the fog light. You're going to reach around the back side, and there's a little pinch tab on there. You're going to pinch that, wiggle that connector off. Go ahead and repeat for the other side. With the fog lights disconnected, go ahead and step back with that bumper cover and set it aside. On the bottom of our grille support here, there's a 10mm bolt right here. Loosen and remove that. and repeat for the other side. Now we're going to remove our grill assembly. If you pull up on this here, you can see it's loose. Along the top side, there's two plastic trim covers here. You're just going to run your fingers underneath and gently pop up. And then pull this out and work your way down. Put your fingers underneath. And what we're doing is just undoing some of the little retaining clips on there. Go ahead and separate that and set it aside. Remove our seal from our radiator cross member here. We're gonna use our trim tool, and you're gonna just gently tug up on this here to find where the clips are. Put the tool in and pry up gently. And you're gonna release the clip here from the unit. Now there's gonna be a few of these here. Now, for any reason, if the clip should pop out of the seal, it's not the end of the world. Simply pop out the clip. Shaped like a little T. All you need to do is take the seal and put the button back in there and just kind of stretch the seal around the little T here. You could always use a little pocket screwdriver as well to try and get that in there, but in most cases you can just stretch this and get it popped back into place. You can use your trim tool as well. Now with that seal pulled up, we just want to make sure we have access to the bolts running across the top here. This 10mm bolts securing our radiator cross member in place. We're going to need access to those. We're going to go ahead and remove our hood latch before we get to those bolts. Before we unbolt our hood latch unit, we're going to go ahead and take a Sharpie marker and we're going to trace around where the washers are. This is going to help us on our realignment when we reinstall this here. I want to make sure that this is spot on. Otherwise, we can run into a latching and unlatching issue when we're all done. So just kind of run around those washers there. Next, 8mm. Let's go ahead, loosen and remove those bolts holding that unit. Now I'm simply going to go ahead and set the bolts back in here for now. If we follow the hood release cable over, there's a little retainer clip here. Carefully spread that open and pop that cable out and just set that hood latch up. We're gonna go ahead and remove our horns from the radiator cross member. You can simply undo the connectors here and then pull the harness back. I don't like to play with wires if I don't have to. That can open up an issue for having electrical problems later on. 10mm. One bolt, super simple for this one here. Use your trim tool. Pop that out. And you can drop it aside and repeat for the passenger side. I'm going to go ahead and throw this bolt back in for now. Pull up our air deflector. Just kind of rotate that around and drop that off to the side. We can undo that harness from this trim as well. Passenger side, remove this deflector. Try and work this up and around. You can try and work with it like this here, but while you're there, just go ahead and pop it off. Set it aside. We have these two braces coming up. Those are 13mm. Loosen and remove those. Now on the front and the side here, we have 3 10mm bolts. I'm gonna go ahead and loosen and remove these. Do the same on the passenger side. On the driver's side, we have our washer fluid reservoir right here, and there's a plastic trim button right here. Go ahead and use your trim tool. I'm going to pop this button out here that's securing this. And pop out that unit there. And I'm going to go ahead and swing this over, and that's going to expose another 10mm bolt right behind it. We're going to go ahead and use our gear wrench for that. All right, go ahead and pop that out. Our expansion tank has an 8mm screw right here. That goes into our crossmember support as well. A little bit further down in the expansion tank, there's a second 8mm screw. Loosen and remove this one. And we're using our 1/4" ratchet for clearance purposes here. Remove this 10mm bolt here holding the bracket for the AC line. Just pull that out. I'm gonna go ahead and throw that bolt back in there. Now let's go ahead and remove our crossmember. We want to go ahead and remove our cooler from our AC condenser. So we're going to use our pick, and right on the back side, you're going to follow this clip back and push down on it. And you can do the same on the bottom side of it. So you can use the pick on the bottom. And push down on here, and that's going to open up our retainer and let you pull the whole bracket up and out. Here we go. I was able to just use my fingers and do the same on the other side. Here we go. I'm going to use a 13mm wrench on the nut here. I want to loosen this. I'm going to switch over to a ratchet once that nut is broken. Using our 1/4" ratchet with our 13mm. Go ahead and spin that nut off there. Now I have a slight hiss coming out of here, which is fine. There's just a little bit of pressure in there. Good, pull that bolt out. It's actually the whole stud came out with it. So if you just remove the nut, that would be fine, and left the stud in, not a big issue. I want to go ahead and separate our AC condenser from our radiator. There's a little spring clip right here. We're just simply going to push up on this and dislodge that. Now on the driver's side, it's a different type of clip, but we're going to pinch these two little locking clips right here, and that'll unlock that and allow this to kind of tilt forward. Simply grab our cross beams here. Now these are bolted in, but that's going to allow us to go ahead and pull this unit up and out. I want to go ahead and access our AC lines on the passenger side over here. We have the two AC lines here. I'm going to use a pair of hose pliers here. You don't have to use this tool, but I just found that it's easier to go ahead and release those little plastic retaining caps. Just slide that back. I'm going to do the same for the bottom one. Now with those back, there's going to be little retaining clips here, and we're going to use a small pick to go ahead and access those. You just need to get underneath the clip here and slide that out. Now you have to be super careful when doing this because they are kind of under tension, and they're kind of spring-loaded, so they can pop out and boing across the room. Here is one of them right here. So you just want to get underneath and undo that clip. I'm going to set that aside. And if you can, get to that bottom one as well. We have another clip. Go ahead and set that aside. Now we can carefully wiggle these lines free. We'll slide that bracket back over. And grab our AC condenser. Lift that up and out. On your old AC condenser, we're going to remove our retainers for the other cooler that was on the unit. So little clips on the other side. So you want to remove these here. Normally they unthread. The plastic just kind of just come off, but ours is stuck. So go ahead and remove these. And then just tap these through. Do the same for the other side. Now I want to go ahead and install our clips into the new condenser in the same location as these were on the original part. So we're going to use a tape measure. We're going to get a rough measurement. We're looking ballpark 2 inches in and about 7¼ inches up. I want to go ahead and make sure we mark this on the proper side of our AC condenser for the side that the clip is going to be pushed through. So we're going to be here and coming in 2 inches. So we're ballpark right there. I want to make sure that this is horizontal, not vertical. Line that up. Push that through. Take your retainer and we're just going to put that on the other side and push that on. So we'll go ahead and get the measurements for the other side here. We're a ballpark 5.5. By 4 3/4, and then 4 3/4 in. We have our clips installed and our retainers on the other side. Let's go ahead and lower this into the vehicle. On the side of our condenser here, I want to go ahead and remove this block-off plate. Using a 12 millimeter. Now you probably hear a little hissing noise from this here because these are tested and pressurized. That's just air coming out. These components here will not be reused. We have protective plugs here. We're going to leave those in for now while we continue to work on this. Next, we want to go ahead and install the stud. Go ahead and thread that in. We use a 5 millimeter socket with our 1/4 inch ratchet. We do want to go ahead and snug that down. Pop out that plug. Now on the driver's side, we have our AC lines here, and there are O-rings here. Now chances are, if you didn't have any leaks from here before, you're probably okay to reuse them. Ours had a little bit of an issue, so we're going to replace our O-ring seals. We're going to use our pick. I'm going to go ahead and pull these seals out. So here we have the O-ring washer. I'm going to do the same here. I want to take the new supplied O-rings. You want to roll those over like so. Now before installing this into our new condenser, we have some PAG oil here, and we're going to put it on the O-rings here. PAG oil is the AC style oil. Go ahead and coat those O-rings. When we drop our AC condenser into place, there is a little bracket, a little U channel right here that our AC condenser is going to drop into. Same thing on the passenger side. So we can go ahead and grab our condenser and start to lower this down. On the top here, we'll go ahead and remove our plugs. We have our upper and lower lines here. Now this here, this already has our clips installed. So all we need to do is line these up and push them into place. You'll be able to feel them and hear them snap into place. Here we go. Go ahead and slide your locking collars over. Protect those clips from popping off. We can raise up our AC condenser. Line that up here and push this on. And this is locked in right here. I'm going to line up our passenger side. Don't go to snap this in. Okay, our AC condenser is locked into place. Let's install our driver's side AC lines over here. And we have this on the stud. Have that lined up. Let's go ahead and install the nut. I'm going to slide our cross bracket over. We're going to reuse the nut off of the original stud there. I want to go ahead and snug that down. You want to make sure that is good and snug. Not super tight, but you do want to make sure that is snug enough where the O-ring seals are sealing around the perimeter there. We have our lower cooler here. Going to line this up with our clips that we swapped over. And pop those into place. Slide over your cross bracket. And then let's go ahead and get our cross member here Ready to install. Drop that down into place. Make sure all your bolt holes line up. Let's get our bolts all started by hand. We're going to install our bolts for our radiator crossmember support here. And get all these started by hand. And we're going to do the same for the driver side. And then once we get the 3 in on the front and the top, we'll install the back one by the washer fluid reservoir. And push our reservoir back. Go ahead and repeat for the driver's side. On our coolant reservoir, we have the lower 8mm bolt. Go ahead and get that started. Install the upper coolant reservoir bolt. Now we can go ahead and gently snug this down. Go ahead and snug down the bottom bolt. Now you're just securing plastic here, so once that bolt bottoms out, you just give it about a quarter turn. And bottomed out. There we go. Gonna install your cross braces here. Make sure those are tight. This will tuck down, fit into this. And line that up. Go ahead and grab your horns. Get that bolt started. And we can simply go ahead and take our harness retainers, press these in. Let's go ahead and install the passenger side, and we'll come back and snug those down. And bring our hood latch over. Okay, line up our latch and go ahead and start to snug these down, making sure that your washers line up with the markings that we put on the bracket before we removed it. Snug those down. Install the hood release cable into the little retainer clip. Just snap that into it. Make sure your cable is run properly up underneath. On the bottom side of our plastic trim here, there are little tabs that actually lock in on the top of the radiator support. So I want to go ahead and line this up with our headlight. Push our grille back into position. And then go ahead and tap down on our retainers here. I'm going to install our 2 lower bolts on our grille assembly. Snug that down. Repeat for the passenger side. Let's go ahead and pop the plastic trim down and in. Get that lined up. Go ahead and install your plastic push pins around the perimeter and secure this down. We want to go ahead and prepare our bumper to go back on. So we're going to reach down and connect our fog light here. Press that on. You can feel it and hear it snap into place. I'm going to go ahead and repeat for the other side. Now I want to go ahead and line up our bumper here. I'm going to bring this up, feed this into the bumper bracket. Pop that into place, and we're going to go ahead and continue around the front perimeter, locking this in underneath the lights. Go ahead and snap the fender trim back on. Install your plastic button retainers. I'm going to go ahead and repeat for the other side. Install the lower push pins in the bottom portion of the bumper. Install the plastic retainer button for your washer fluid bottle here. And then we'll install our AC line bracket. Snug that down. We can install our upper seal across the support. I'm just going to press the little green retainer buttons into the holes. Now that you've secured your last bolt, you want to go ahead and take the vehicle down to your local repair shop and have the AC system recharged. And at that point there, you're all set.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.